Hi, my name is Jennifer Lopez. I am a child development major. It's my last year at Cal State Long Beach. My experience with cross-culture communication is that I've met people from different backgrounds, I've traveled the world, and we all have shared different or similar experiences. For this assignment, I had to do an interview. I had to interview a classmate from a different background of mine, and this is how the interview went. For my interview, I met with a classmate who is Belizean. Most of my questions were inspired by the TED Talk, and hearing from the classmate made me learn more about them as well as their country. I learned that Belize is definitely a melting pot, just like here in America, making it hard to pinpoint a stereotypical Belizean as most times they are black. In reality, Belizeans come in all shades and there is no one way to identify them. I also found out that there aren't many negative things said about Belizeans, seeing it is known as one of the world's best kept secrets. Things that are said are usually positive, and when they are negative, it's an opinion formed by someone that had negative experiences. I asked the person I interviewed what they would want someone to know about Belize. And it's really like from a I asked the person I interviewed what they would want someone to know about Belize and what it's really like from a native. And they told me that although it's their home and a place they hold dear, it's not exactly for everyone. Belize isn't a place where you can live a fast-paced life. People there taking things slower, which is why, from the most part, it can be seen as somewhere for older people to enjoy more than the youth. This all ties back in with the TED Talk because in it, the speaker focuses on stereotypes of her country and how it affected her experience when coming to the US. I wanted to talk to this specific Belizean classmate because again, Belize isn't well known. So things can be perceived wildly different than what the actual truth is. After the interview, I started to think more about my cross-cultural experiences and the way how I've met different people from different backgrounds and how it's a universal experience, how everyone has to break their own stereotypical notions that they have about a place. For example, in the TED Talk, when she talks about how just like the TED Talk, her roommate had the notion that Nigeria was just one place. How in Google, when you Google Nigeria, there's a bunch of land and animals and stuff. But to her surprise, her roommate was nothing like what Google said. And I started to realize that everyone does have their own experience of different places, that no one should be put in one box just because they come from that place. Everyone is diverse and everyone's... After the cross-culture questions, I asked what their greatest strengths were, and I was told that they personally feel as if though their strengths are being able to adapt to difficult situations and take on tasks that may be unconventional to most. This is because when coming to America, they had to support their family with things that were difficult to adapt. At a young age, they had to be the one to find places, take care of their grandma, as well as find jobs for their family members. This resulted in them being able to be quick-witted and endure a lot of different tasks at an older age. And I also asked, what can they improve? They said they can improve when it comes to understanding others. Because of being independent at a young age, sometimes they expect others to be capable of the same task. Not being Not everyone had to deal with the same upbringing, and they want to start keeping this in mind more often. To continue the interview, I asked them for some of their weaknesses. They stated some weaknesses they noticed was their ability to communicate things clearly. Because of a slight cultural difference, some things don't translate well from their mind into words they want to say. Although Belize's first language is English, there are things that don't mean the same in their dialect. This makes it difficult for them to explain things that they really want to say. Another weakness is their independence. Although independence is a great feature, they often have a hard time asking for help, which puts them in difficult situations when they need assistance. They try to tough things out, and it doesn't always go well for them. In the TED Talk, she discusses ways she improved her single story narrative by discussing her childhood experience with the poor boy in her neighborhood and visiting Mexico, not giving people and places single story. To me, this meant that she saw him at face value. He was just the poor boy, when really his family was extremely creative and had more depth to them. She went into Mexico thinking it was all cartels and danger, but she ended up falling in love with the beauty of the country when she got to know it and its people. She went into Mexico. After concluding the interview, I realized that there is more to a country once you get to know it. Even as a local, some things might not seem the same to one as it does to another local. Everyone has different experiences, first or second hand. This experience has prepared me for future interviews as well as how I take in foreign countries and foreigners when meeting them. I shouldn't take places and people at face value, but instead should get to know them as a whole. This experience also helped me get to know my classmate more in depth, because when I first met them, they were just a quiet girl I'd see walking around. Never would I have thought I'd get to know the struggles and achievements she made if I did not conduct this interview. Throughout, I also got to talk about some things I've been through and accomplished as well. It was an insightful experience, and I hope that whenever I meet someone different than me, I can learn more about the culture and background. Overall, now that I've been able to conduct my own interview instead of being interviewed, as I have a few times before, I get to put myself in the position of understanding the interview's perspective and why they could be a fit for a certain job or internship that caters to cultural diversity.